How has discrimination or inequality, how have you experienced that in your career so far?
Well, yeah, I have laughed because, Sarah was very kind and said this is a generational experience for us because we represent different generations. So guess what the role I get to play? The old lady, okay?
Total badass,
Yeah.
actually, is how I mean.
Yeah, I've told everybody I have my starring role is the older woman. So it's interesting for me because I started my career in 1977. And I had a job at, I'll tell you, the Richards Group in Dallas, and I experienced some pretty interesting situations there, such as cat calls when I would walk up the stairs and all kinds of crazy comments. And as Jay Sewer, who's our Chief Creative Officer out there, told me, he said, Gay, you were living in Mad Men with bell bottoms. And that really was pretty much the truth. It was pretty wild. So that was a bit intimidating in a lot of ways, and I really didn't succeed in that job, but then I did end up succeeding in other jobs and had some great people who encouraged me along the way. And at one point I got mad because I didn't like the way this guy was running his company, and so 30 years ago I started my own, and because I wanted to do it my way. And that's when things started to really change for me because certainly I respect and work with men every day. I've been the only woman in the room so many times I can't even count. But it was an opportunity for me to really set a course that I wanted to work in, a place I wanted to be in, and where I hope people wanted to work and build a culture around that. So that's kind of how I solved it in a way, because before then I had worked only for men. I did have one female boss, and I always laughed because if you look back in the 80s and some of those early times, a lot of the women who were trying to get ahead were not helping other women at all. In fact, they were almost aggressively against you in many ways, and I have these scars on the top of my hands. I'm not kidding. And as I would say, as I was crawling up the ladder, the stiletto heels were just stepping on me, trying to get up. So that's been a big thing. And what I want to emphasize today, and then I'll let our other colleagues speak here, is that I'm excited to see more women helping women, finally. And I wrote a book called Cowgirl Power. It's about empowering women. It's about taking charge for yourself. But it's the one thing that I'm very excited about is finally I'm seeing women saying, hey, let's get more women in the room. And I told you about the board of directors I'm on. When I got on the board, I was the second woman on the board, and now we have 2 more. And here's how we did it. When we needed to replace 2 of our board members because they were stepping down in retirement, we went to our headhunter and we said, we want women on this list, qualified women in the pipeline. And we ended up finding the 2 that we replaced. So now we have 2 more women on the board because we demanded that we have it. And we did have the support of the other board members to do that. But they were the most qualified people. It wasn't because they were 2 women.